everybody. I'm going to get to a hive inspection in just a minute, but before I do, I wanted to say just a few words, and I'll be real quick. First of all, I appreciate you watching this video and any of my others about beekeeping, or if you've watched some of my banjo videos and enjoyed those, I appreciate that too. I throw some beekeeping out here, throw some banjo playing out here. I may throw some gardening videos out here. We'll see how well I can get to that. But anyway, if you appreciate these videos, I would appreciate you subscribing to my channel so you'll know when I post the next videos. And when you do subscribe, go ahead and click that little bell icon so that you'll get a notification of updated videos. Let's get on with the inspection. So today I'm going to be inspecting the cemetery swarm. I posted a previous video about this colony that was retrieved from a swarm from the cemetery behind our house, behind my back right here. And I did an inspection on them a while back, and for those who didn't see that and are interested in the history of this colony, I'll put that video, a link to that video right up here so you can take a look at that. Lately I've noticed that this colony has not seen as much activity at the hive entrance, so that causes me some concern. So I'm going to take a look at them, see how they're doing, see if I need to take any special measures to prepare them for winter, or possibly consider combining them with another colony. I don't know what I'm going to see when I get in here. May find hive beetle issues, may find other problems going on, but you and I will find out together. So let's get into it. Now the first thing I find is I have a major ant nest right on top of here. I'll get a close-up of that guy. This is not nice to see when I open up my hive and find a whole ant colony thriving on top of that. That caused me some concern for what's below, because although I've seen ant colonies on my hives before, and these frames, because they touch and create a wall over top of the hive, they can provide a safe space for the ants. But I don't often see them where I have strong colonies, because when the ants try to go in to get to the honey, the bees repel them, and that seems to keep the ants away. So that may tell me something about the strength of this colony underneath. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my hive tool to scrape away these eggs and get some of these ants off of here. Now let's go ahead and open up the hive and see what we got in here. Okay, so this first frame, they've got a little wax built out on it. Not a whole lot. There are some hive beetles in there. Not liking that. And also not liking that these ants are biting the backs of my hands. They're not happy at all with me. I am seeing some bees in here that are kind of stumbling around. It's hard to say when they're up on top. Sometimes I've seen bees before that I thought were having almost looked like a seizure, and it turned out they were wrestling with a hive beetle. But and so some of these bees I see coming up here and doing weird stuff, they may be going after the ants, but or the ants may be biting them. I see one bee here that an ant crawled up on its leg. So don't know if that tells me much. I have just recently in one of my strongest hives and in the weak hive that I had previously inspected, had seen some quick die-offs, which I believe were due to pesticide poisoning, so that's something that I'm concerned about. Here, living in the suburbs, you get people who spray their lawns for different pests, try to keep the mosquitoes away, whatever, and if the bees happen to get into some flowers or clover that's been sprayed with pesticides and lead other bees back to that same place, we could have a real problem. Hopefully that's not an issue here, but we'll take a look and see what we have on the other frames. So the second frame, there is not a whole lot going on here. By the darkening of the comb, I can tell this comb had brood in it. I believe at the last inspection it may have had brood in it. I am not seeing any brood right now. You can see, look at these bees hanging down on the bottom. If you can see that, that's called festooning. I think I talked about that before. The bees just kind of cling and hang together. I am seeing some hive beetles on here. Not a ton, so that's not horrible. Hopefully the bees will continue to keep them in check. But again, on both sides of this frame, I'm not seeing a whole lot. Now I will mention this hive, again, it's dark. The comb is dark in the middle. They had brood on here at one point, but there's nothing stored in this right now. Even some cells that are yellowed, where they might have had pollen before, are empty right now. So this is basically an empty frame. But what I was about to say is that last time I inspected this hive, I mentioned that it was unusual, or at least it seemed unusual. The bees had started building on the frames that were furthest from the entrance. Usually they will put their brood closer to the entrance and then store honey farther away. So that was a little unusual to see. So this is one of those original brood frames, and they may be migrating their brood back towards the entrance. We'll see. And I'm still getting bit by these dang little ants. Now this next frame does have some brood on it. The bees kind of cleared out after I smoked them. So we can see on here, they have capped brood on this frame, but not a lot of it, and it's kind of patchy. I do see some cells that are open, but they don't look like, I can't tell if they are emerging or those are possibly failed pupa. I'm not sure. And take a look at the other side. This side has more capped brood. Has more bees working on that. I do see some open cells on there. Got an ant biting me on the left hand. But kind of the same story as the other side. It's possible with this patchy brood, and I'm not really seeing eggs or larvae replacing the cells that bees have emerged from. It's possible I have a failed queen in here, and so I may combine this colony with another one to provide one strong colony going into winter. Usually when I'm working bees, I'm thinking about stings. I never really concerned myself with ant bites before, but these little boogers are unhappy. Okay, so here is another brood frame, but there is very little brood on there. Some capped brood. I see some darkened cells where there had been brood that has emerged. I am not seeing any young larvae or any eggs in here. So far it's looking very possible that I have a failed queen in here. Again, got some capped brood on this side. Have not seen my queen and do not see any current evidence of a queen. Try to blow these bees, get them to move away so I can see in these cells to see if there's any larvae or any eggs in here, but I am just not seeing anything. So we're down to our last frame, and this one doesn't give me much reason to hope here. They have built out comb on this frame. But not really enough comb to do much with. No brood, no stores in here. And on the other side, they haven't even really built it out yet. So it appears that we are looking at at some point along here we lost our queen. And they have, going through here, I found no resource stores, no honey stored up, no nectar, no pollen. They only have that cap brood to emerge, and so they don't have any resources to make a new queen. And at this time of year, there'd be little chance of a new queen getting mated. Like I said starting out, they didn't see much traffic at the entrance, and so they're not really bringing in a whole lot. And so this colony is in dire straits. Now, because I have 2 colonies in this box, I'm going to take a little more time, search for the queen, who I don't think is in here. If I find her, I will probably end up removing her from this colony and pinching her, or getting rid of her. Because if there is a queen in here, she's certainly not doing much. They don't have stores to get through winter. At this point, she shouldn't be shutting down production this much, this early, because they will still need bees to get through winter. And so this colony will not survive through winter in their current state. So I'm going to find that queen, end up combining this colony with the other colony next door here, and we'll let them work together to get through winter. Now, having said that, this colony next door is seeming to be very strong right now. We'll see how they're doing and move forward from there. So that appears to be the status of this colony. I'm going to take a little more time to hunt for the queen, and I got a little friend here hanging out. But I'm going to take a little more time to hunt for the queen, and if I find her, I'll pull her out of there. If I don't find her, I'll assume that something happened, she's gone, and we'll just, either way, we're going to get these colonies combined to prepare for winter. So that's our status, and watch for the next video as we put these colonies together. She is going around looking for cells to lay in, but she doesn't seem to be doing any laying. And like I said, it's not unusual this time of year for the queen to kind of hold back on laying, because they don't, they need to start storing up resources to go into winter. They do need a supply of winter bees who will live in the colony through winter, and will help to keep the queen and the colony warm to get through winter. But they otherwise should be storing up resources, and these bees are not storing up much of anything. They don't have any honey in here. They don't have pollen for new brood, and so I'm going to be pulling this queen out of this hive, and she seems to be an underperforming queen, so we will probably end up getting rid of her. But it's hard to say. Queen is so valuable, you just hate to get rid of her. But when they are not doing, not keeping the colony propagated, they just are not a good queen.